Bristol, a city nestled in the southwest of England, where the River Avon flows gently through its heart. This charming city is home to a vibrant community where people from all walks of life live, work, and thrive together. It's a city that embodies a sense of peace and tranquility, where neighbors become like family and strangers become friends. But beneath the surface of this idyllic city, a darkness lurks. In the shadows of Bristol's streets, a sinister presence lurked, waiting to strike. And when they did, the city would never be the same again. Hello everyone, welcome to the Crime Sphere, where we explore the darkest corners of the globe, delving into shocking and intriguing crimes from around the world. Join us on a journey into the heart of darkness, where the truth is stranger than fiction. Please hit the like and subscribe button to stay hooked to true crime. I would really appreciate, and it would mean a lot to me. Today we're diving into the heartbreaking and gripping story of Joanna Yeates, a young woman's life cut short, a community left in shock, and a relentless pursuit for justice. This is a tale that shook Bristol and captured the attention of millions. Joanna Yeates was a 25-year-old landscape architect living in Bristol. Known for her vibrant personality and kind heart, she was beloved by her friends, family, and colleagues. Joanna had recently moved in with her boyfriend, Greg Reardon, and they were building a happy life together. The couple were looking forward to Christmas 2010. They had even organized to have a party for friends at their home. But first, her partner Greg Reardon went back to his native Yorkshire to visit his family the weekend before Christmas. With her boyfriend away, Joanna went for an after-work drink on December 17, 2010, with friends at a local pub on Park Street. She left the pub around 8 p.m., stopping by a grocery store on her way home. Clearly in a good mood, as CCTVs around her had caught her smiling, she visited shops to buy cider and a pizza. At approximately 8 p.m. on December 19, 2010, Greg returned home from his weekend visit to Sheffield to find Joanna absent from the flat they shared. He had been trying to contact Joanna by both phone and text, but with no success. Upon returning to the flat, Greg called Joanna once more, but her cell phone rang from a pocket of her coat, which was still in the flat. He then discovered that her purse and keys were also at the flat, and that their cat appeared to have been neglected. Shortly after midnight, Greg contacted Joanna's parents to inform about their daughter and the police to report her missing. This sparked a massive search effort by the police and the local community. Flyers with her picture were distributed, and media coverage spread rapidly. The Avon and Somerset police launched an investigation and started with searching Joanna's flat, reviewing CCTV footage, analyzing phone records, speaking to Joanna's friends, family, and colleagues to gather information about her last movements. The police also collected forensic evidence from her flat and other relevant locations. Joanna's parents, David and Teresa Yeates, made a public appeal for information on December 21, 2010, 4 days after she was reported missing. They held a press conference at the Bristol Ramada Hotel, where they made an emotional appeal for information about their daughter's disappearance. They described Joanna as a bright and beautiful young woman who was full of life and enthusiasm. They urged anyone with information to come forward, saying, "We just want to know what's happened to her." As days passed with no sign of Joanna, fear and anxiety grew. On a chilly Christmas morning in 2010, around 9 a.m., a young couple, Daniel and Rebecca Papworth, were walking their dog along Longwood Lane when they stumbled upon a lifeless body. Initially, they thought it was a mannequin or a doll, but their hearts sank as they realized it was a human being. The body, later identified as that of Joanna Yeates, was found in a semi-frozen state in a ditch and was partially hidden from view. She wore the same clothes she had on the night she disappeared. The Papworths, shaken by their discovery, immediately contacted the authorities, and the police arrived at the scene around 9:30 a.m. The area was swiftly cordoned off, and forensic experts began meticulously examining the scene, collecting evidence, and documenting every detail. As news of the discovery spread, a sense of unease settled over the community. Joanna's family, who had been searching for her since her disappearance on December 17th, was informed of the tragic find. The confirmation of Joanna's identity through dental records and DNA analysis only added to the devastation. A post-mortem examination revealed the heartbreaking truth. Joanna had died from strangulation. The revelation sparked a massive investigation, with detectives working tirelessly to unravel the events surrounding her disappearance and murder. The discovery of Joanna's body on that Christmas day marked the beginning of a long and arduous journey for her loved ones, the investigators, and the community. It was a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of violence. After Joanna Yeates' body was found on Christmas Day, 2010, her parents, David and Teresa Yeates, made a second public appeal to help bring closure to their family and ensure justice was served. In a heart-wrenching press conference, they spoke about their beloved daughter, remembering her bright smile, infectious laugh, and kind spirit. They shared stories of Joanna's life, her passions, and her dreams, showcasing the vibrant person she was. The Yeates family sought the public's help in uncovering any information that might lead to the conviction of Joanna's killer. They urged anyone with details, no matter how small, to come forward and assist the police investigation. This second appeal was a poignant plea for help, not only to honor Joanna's memory, but also to support the family in their darkest hour. By sharing their story, the Yeates hoped to keep Joanna's memory alive and ensure that her tragic death would not be in vain. Throughout the appeal, the Yeates family demonstrated remarkable strength and dignity, inspiring an outpouring of support from the community. Their courage and resilience in the face of unimaginable tragedy served as a testament to the enduring power of love and the human spirit. The investigation into Joanna's murder was one of the largest in Avon and Somerset police history. Detectives faced immense pressure to find her killer. They conducted numerous interviews, examined CCTV footage, and collected forensic evidence. The case drew intense media attention, with the public eager for answers. In a shocking turn of events, the police arrested Joanna's landlord, Christopher Jeffries, a retired English school teacher who became a suspect in the investigation due to a combination of circumstances and misunderstandings. Jeffries, a quiet and reserved individual, had lived in the same building as Joanna and had been her landlord for several years. He was known for his eccentric behavior and distinctive appearance, which may have contributed to the initial suspicion. After Joanna's disappearance, detectives began questioning those close to her, including Jeffries. His unusual behavior during the interview, such as allegedly staring intensely at the officers, raised suspicions. Additionally, a neighbor reported seeing Jeffries near Joanna's flat on the night of her disappearance. However, as the investigation continued, detectives found no concrete evidence linking Jeffries to the crime. His alibi checked out, and forensic evidence did not match him to the scene. The police also discovered that Jeffries' eccentric behavior was simply a part of his personality and not indicative of guilt. Jeffries' life was turned upside down when he became a suspect in Joanna's murder investigation. He faced intense media scrutiny, with his name and image plastered across newspapers and television screens. The attention was overwhelming, and he became a recluse, afraid to leave his home. The suspicion and accusations took a toll on Jeffries' mental health. He suffered from anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. He felt his reputation had been irreparably damaged, and he struggled to come to terms with the fact that he had been accused of such a heinous crime. Jeffries' friends and acquaintances distanced themselves from him, and he felt isolated and alone. He described the experience as a living nightmare and said he felt vilified by the media and the public. After being cleared as a suspect, Jeffries sought compensation for his ordeal and later received a substantial payout from the police and media outlets for their handling of the case. Jeffries' story serves as a reminder of the importance of protecting the rights and reputations of individuals caught up in high-profile investigations. Attention eventually turned to a tenant in the building, Vincent Tabak, a Dutch engineer. Tabak had initially helped with the search for Joanna, but his behavior raised suspicions. Tabak had been instrumental in framing Christopher by telling the police that Jeffries had been using his car on the night of December 17, 2010. On the 23rd of December, the police revisited Tabak and carried out a routine search of the flat he shared with his girlfriend, Tanya Morrison. On Christmas Eve, Detective Constable Karen Thomas, a member of the police's major crime investigation team, spoke to Tabak by telephone about his movements on the night of Yeates' disappearance. He told her he was in all evening before driving in the early hours of the morning to pick up Morrison after a work party. But DC Thomas's intuition told her that something was not right when Tabak began asking too many questions about the forensic work of the case. The detective grew suspicious. The police also received a tip-off about Tabak from a female caller who had seen Joanna's parents appeal on Crime Watch, and she reported seeing Tabak near Joanna's flat on the night of her disappearance. 2 days after the Crime Watch appeal was filmed, the police got their breakthrough. They had become increasingly suspicious as to why Vincent Tabak had fed them misleading information about Jeffries. Tabak had told police that on the night of Joanna's disappearance, Jeffries' car had been moved. This was a lie, but the information had prompted Jeffries' arrest. On the 20th of January, 32-year-old Tabak was himself arrested. During his arrest, he refused to cooperate with the police and largely answered questions with no comment. However, the evidence against him was mounting. He couldn't argue with DNA proof that linked him to Joanna's death. The forensic evidence that he was curious about did indeed implicate him. Police found traces of DNA left on Joanna's body when he carried her, along with her DNA in his car. Additionally, fibers from Tabak's clothing were discovered on Joanna's body and in her flat. Also through CCTV footage, Tabak's car was captured parked near Joanna's flat on the night of her disappearance. Further analysis revealed his car had been in the area for an extended period. He was observed cleaning his car and changing his clothes in the days following Joanna's disappearance. Tabak's computer also revealed searches related to Joanna Yeates and the investigation. Initially, Tabak claimed to be at home, but later admitted to being in the area around the time of Joanna's disappearance. He later confessed to killing Joanna, claiming that he had accidentally killed her while trying to stifle her scream. Vincent Tabak, living next door to Joanna and Greg, harbored a dark obsession. On the night of December 17, 2010, Tabak saw an opportunity when Greg was away for the weekend. What is known is that Vincent Tabak knocked on the door and entered Miss Yates's flat shortly after she got back. It was the first time they had met. He had lived in a neighboring flat for around 18 months with his girlfriend. On that ill-fated night, Tabak visited Joanna under the pretense of being a friendly neighbor. Once inside, Tabak made unwanted advances towards Joanna, which she rejected. The situation escalated quickly. Overcome by rage and frustration, Tabak strangled Joanna with his bare hands. Joanna fought for her life, but Tabak used his 6 feet 4 inches frame to overpower her. Joanna is believed to have been dead within about 20 seconds of Tabak grabbing her neck. For reasons only he knows, Tabak kept her sock and took the pizza she had bought earlier that night. After killing Joanna, Tabak attempted to cover his tracks. After she died, Tabak texted his girlfriend Tanya Morrison to say he was bored and drove to a nearby Asda supermarket to buy crisps and beer while Miss Yates's body was in the boot of his car. He then drove her body in the boot of his Renault Megane and drove to a secluded area near Longwood Lane where he disposed of her body. Tabak had attempted to hide Joanna's body by covering it with leaves. Tabak then returned to his flat and tried to clean up any evidence of the crime. He avoided police suspicion for weeks by maintaining the pretense that he was a concerned neighbor. Tabak had also used the internet to conduct in-depth research on the case in a bid to keep one step ahead of the investigation. In the days following the murder, Tabak read news articles on her disappearance and searched Google Maps for information on Longwood Lane, where he had left her body. Despite his efforts, forensic investigators later found traces of Joanna's blood in his car and flat, leading to his arrest. Vincent Tabak's trial began in October 2011. During his trial, the prosecution claimed that Tabak was motivated by sexual intentions when he attacked Joanna at her home on the 17th of December last year. It was suggested that he may have spied on the landscape architect, and an important feature of the case was that when her body was found on Christmas morning, her top had been pulled above her bra and part of her chest was exposed. His DNA was found on Joanna's chest. The police had delved into Tabak's computers after his arrest, where they discovered an interest in hardcore pornography, some of which featured strangulation and bondage. He accessed a portal to a pornographic site on the day he killed Joanna. Following the killing, he sometimes navigated between reports about her disappearance and pornography. Police were particularly interested in an image on one of his computers showing a slight blonde woman with a striking resemblance to Joanna, with her pink top pulled up. The pathologist, Dr. Delaney, revealed that Joanna suffered 43 injuries during the struggle that ended her life. He showed photographs to the jury of red bruise marks on her neck and chin, and blood underneath her nose. He made the jury aware that these injuries were sustained during life, while the heart was beating. He went on to say that Tabak would have seen her struggling to breathe. Police analysts also found that during business trips, Tabak researched escort agencies. While in Los Angeles shortly before his attack on Joanna, police believe, he may have twice used the services of a sex worker, once after checking into a hotel under a false name. Vincent Tabak admitted to manslaughter but denied murder. After a 3-week trial, the jury found him guilty of murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 20 years. Joanna's murder had a profound impact on the Bristol community and beyond. It highlighted issues of safety and the often unpredictable nature of violence. Vigils and memorials were held in Joanna's honor, and her family established a charity in her name to support young people in architecture and landscape design. The media played a significant role in both helping and hindering the investigation. While coverage raised awareness and encouraged public involvement, it also led to the wrongful vilification of innocent individuals like Christopher Jeffries. This case sparked a debate about media ethics and the impact of sensationalism on real lives. Joanna's tragic story teaches us about the importance of community, the pursuit of justice, and the need for responsible media coverage. It also reminds us of the fragility of life and the importance of supporting one another in times of crisis. Joanna Yeates' legacy lives on through the charity established in her name and the countless lives she touched. Her story continues to inspire efforts to make communities safer and more supportive places for everyone. In 2015, Tabak also pleaded guilty to possessing more than 100 indecent images of children and was sentenced to 10 months imprisonment, to be served concurrently with his existing life sentence. Thank you for joining us as we explored the heartbreaking story of Joanna Yeates. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that uncover the hidden truths behind the headlines. Until next time, stay vigilant and compassionate.